All right, guys, what is the best way to make money? What's the strategy? How do I do it? If someone turns around and answers that question with a 100% specific answer, such as you must do this, you must do that, it's probably because they're selling something specific which they have a stake in, and that's why they think it's the best, or that's why they just want to tell you that it's the best way to make money. Now, the truth is, and this sounds like a cop-out, but if you bear with me, I'll explain. The truth is that it depends on you, it depends on your circumstances. A common one that I come across is people who are fairly risk averse, who therefore sort of fit into salaried positions. They don't want to go out and work for themselves because that carries a lot of risk. They like the safety of being in a salaried job with long service leave and annual leave and the protections that come with employment law and superannuation and all those things. And so the systems that work for them involve utilising the little tax benefits they get through superannuation over a longer period of time, as well as the ability to leverage their income, which is readily able to be done for PAYG salaried people, more so than, say, self-employed people or people who work on contracts and things like that. So what they do is they get into property, and then you can work out just how far you can gear that income again and again using equity in property as you grow a portfolio. And that is a strategy for that person. They're in a fairly safe asset class in property, and they can use leverage to grow their portfolio and their wealth, and they'll eventually get to a point where you can calculate a partial sell-off of property, which repays all debt and just returns a passive rental income stream. And then it's about defining, well, how much is enough for that person. Now, that is a strategy for a particular person. There's often talk about which is better, housing or the share market. And in these day and age, you probably also want to throw crypto in there or some other asset class, exchange-traded funds. You can get a little bit more complex and you can start to talk about barbell strategies where someone with a little bit more risk tolerance might say, well, I want to have the majority of my investments in some of those safe places, and I want to get the benefit of compounding. Therefore, I'm going to budget so that I can push a little bit of money into those assets each and every paycheck and just earn the benefit of compounding interest over time. And then I might put 5% of my investable money into something crazy risk where I may not get my money back, I may not even get a return. But if it works really, really well, it works amazingly, and that 5% can be the best investment, but at least you haven't lost everything, right? That's called the barbell strategy, and that can come into play again depending on what level of risk you want to get into. I mentioned compounding. Compounding is for people who are straight and steady, and they like to build up over time, and they don't need to see it all happen at once, and they're prepared to wait, and they don't expect everything up front. I haven't mentioned self-employed people. Interesting class. Not always are self-employed people particularly risk tolerant. They may just not like the system, the big company system, the politics, the strictures, that kind of thing. Or maybe it just wasn't even really on their radar. Many tradespeople are like this. It's sort of just for them about plying their trade, doing their craft, earning their money with their hands. The approach you take for these people is also a bit different. It's a little harder to leverage your income in the self-employed class because of the way banks generally assess self-employed people. In this class of people, there are other ways to make money. You might forego putting a detailed property investment strategy together because your income is inconsistent. But what you're doing in your business is actually building up to something valuable, something you can sell, right? And this is not so different from property investment. You buy a property, and the old wisdom, and it's still good wisdom, is you buy the worst house on the best street and you let that entire street appreciate as it does. You may renovate, but the idea is that that house will be lifted in value along with every other more expensive house in that street. So you've gotten in for a lower investment and you can still ride the growth percentage. That's value creation. In small business and large business, value creation often comes down to this. The money you could pour into investments, the money you could spend on the trappings of wealth, such as nice cars, holidays, things like that, a bigger home, is foregone. It's put back into the business. And if that is your strategy and you're prepared to do that, having that knowledge of what you're actually doing in mind is very important. Because whilst you may feel like you're not making money here and now, the idea here is that you are building something of value that you can one day sell, that you can one day put under management and sit back and collect the profits. So when someone says this is the only way to do it, or this is the only investment class that works, they're selling something. They haven't considered that there are a plethora of particular circumstances for you that need to be thought about. The best advice comes from people who want to understand that. Good accountants will want to understand that. Good brokers will want to understand that, and they'll want to work with your accountant as well. And if you have a financial advisor, they'll want to understand that too. So what's the best way to make money? The best way is to find good advice. If you're interested in more on these topics, click the link in bio. Thank you for listening.